Fair enough.
Hello, everyone.
Welcome back to the Survivor Now podcast.
I was busy on the beach, like I was on Survivor.
I don't believe anything you say on Survivor. I almost called it.
It's now time.
I'm so excited.
Oh no!
I do love you, but
Oh, it's so wrong.
I gotta go. I got something to do. Not as exciting as this. I'll tell you that right now, but.
Hello and welcome to another week of Got Something For You. My name is Phil. To my right is my trusty co-host, Mr. Ollie Grubb. How are you doing, Ollie?
I'm doing well. Happy to see you again this Sunday, ready for another bit of, Survivor talk. I've already had a bit of Survivor talk this week, so it's nice to actually have some more.
That's right. Anyone who does not know, Ollie was on the Survivor Specialist this week. So go ahead over there and give him a watch, give him a view, and talk nice about him in the comments. No mean stuff, okay? Only nice things. Today we're going to be talking about episode 10 of Survivor 49. On the surface here, Ollie, what did we think about episode 10?
I actually thought episode 10 had some really good moments. We're now hitting our stride, which is really nice considering we're getting to the end portion, like the end game. So I like that kind of from an episodic stance, we've hit our stride. Do I think everyone made some really good decisions this episode? No. And I have no issues talking about it because I already talked about it, so I might as well just keep going with it.
I am absolutely stoked to get into this episode with you. I also think there's a lot to talk about. There are a lot of mistakes that were made. I mean, it's been a Savannah love fest over here. I'm excited to keep it going. I just think that she is one of the best casting choices that we have had on this show since the new era has started. So I'm just stoked for that. Also, what the hell? Oh my God. Is the Hot Grim Reaper in our comment? Okay. For a second there, I was like, wait, this is actually nuts.
No.
That is not Savannah in our chat. That is just someone with Savannah as their profile picture. But alas, something I do want to also call out. New background here. I moved. So you will be seeing me in this new background. Please let me know if, and obviously Ollie will probably tell me at the end of the episode if he notices if my audio is weird or if there's anything going wrong with my tech over here because it is a new setup. But without further ado, let's get into the episode. So we get our classic post-tribal scene at the start of this episode. We hear from Rizzo, who is feeling more confident than ever, explaining everything that went on the previous night, and entirely juxtaposed from his view is Christina's, which we see right here. What stuck out to you in this conversation between Christina and Steven?
Do you know what? I think what stuck out for me was you could see obviously how blindsided she was. And I just really felt for Christina. Again, there is a human element to the game that kind of will tug at your heartstrings from every now and again. And I really did feel for Christina at this moment. I'm not going to lie. Obviously the game element is it happens. I get it. But obviously Christina hasn't really felt this so far at all this game. This is kind of the first time she really has been blindsided. So I do kind of understand where the emotions are coming from, and it's also just her personality. I think we've seen other people be big strategists. We've seen other people that are very much game head on. Christina's not like that. So I completely get it from her side. So I felt for her at that moment.
Yeah, this was tough to watch. And again, mind you, I think both of us are, if we ever touched a Survivor tribal camp, if we ever reached a tribal council, we are definitely, more on the gamer sort of strategist, cutthroat side. Christina doesn't really, I think that she's playing this game very emotionally, which is fine and it's good. But I do think that that's what we're seeing here. I mean, especially knowing what comes later in the episode, I think that she was just hurting on so many different levels and from so many different layers.
Yeah.
And this is just a first peek of what we sort of get from her this episode, but she is starting to sort of crumble, if I'm being completely honest. I mean, something I did want to ask you and bring up here is, she just talks, just to highlight it. She talks about how Steven is the only person that she can trust in this game. She feels so slighted by everyone else. And the irony there, we know this as viewers, Steven is the person that got the game of telephone started with her idol secret. And so it's just like, this is one of those games you cannot trust anybody around you.
No.
And I feel like she's starting to realize that. And honestly, like, it hurts me even more to hear her be like, I had a thought yesterday. I think I want to go home,
Yeah.
2 questions for you. First question, maybe most important. Will we see a quit this season, this late in the game? You think there's no shot?
No, not sure. Anyone that sits there and thinks it's going to happen, I'm like, that's nice. I personally don't. Okay. Just because, again, we'll talk about it later on when we get to kind of the reward challenge and stuff. But no, I don't think there'll be a quit.
Okay. Roy Jolly is right here with you. No quits from Roy Jolly.
Good choice.
But I just only ask because truly, like, I feel, again, like she is at an all-time low here. I guess one thing that protects her is that she used her idol. I can imagine after sort of being so forthcoming with Steven about her distrust for every single person on the island except for him, if she were to find out while she has an idol in her pocket that other people know about it through Steven, I think that would be her wit's end, and she'd be like, I'm done. I'm out. The one person I thought that I had is also scheming and plotting against me, behind closed doors.
Yeah. I feel like, though, it depends on how it's twisted, because at the end of the day, Steven only told Sage. So he in fact told someone that he thought he could trust as well. So if it turns out that obviously, like, if everyone sits there and is like, Steven told everyone, first of all, pathological liars. But secondly, I feel like Steven would be able to sit there and go, no, here is the truth, before you lot try and twist it. And I think he would probably own it. He would at least say, like, I know I did you dirty on that. I know it was probably a break of your trust. And give her the power, if that makes sense. He would let her do what she wants with it. But I think he would try and make it up.
Yeah, I mean, look, I would hope so. I do just think that, like, it's tough. When someone gets the game of telephone started, who do you blame? Does she blame Sage, or would she sooner blame Steven? Because it's like, you're the person that I told and trusted with this. The only reason why it's out in the world is because you told people, and so it does make it tough. It definitely makes it tough. But I definitely hear what you're saying.
Yeah, I think it just depends on who, like, if Steven keeps saying the same, if Steven is adamant on his thing and someone else kind of like changes their story a bit, that's where you can then tell. I think it also occurs afterwards if you then ask people kind of to reiterate their side of the story. If something doesn't add up, then it's an easy clock.
Just a quick message from Zans here. Secretly, Zans, New York, publicly. I saw her in a current day, and she was radiating warmth and good vibes. It was jarring from seeing her on Island. Yeah, it is pretty wild. I mean, she's so clearly someone with so much joy in her heart. Yeah. Something that I remember. I mean, Ollie, I don't know if you remember when we were after the premiere of this season. I was so high on Christina.
Yep.
And I was like, she is just a ball of energy. Oh my gosh, she is like, she's so positive, and it's not, the jury's still out on Shannon, but it's like, there's no question that it's like in a fake way, it's 100% truly authentic positivity. And to see where she's at now is very sad. And so I do hope that there are some better days ahead of her. But again, juxtaposed from where Christina is at, we have the Power Four in this game, in this season. And, they're having a talk about who they might go after next. And they seem to be landing on Steven pretty early.
I feel like I might get some heat for this, but I thought Sophie B was hypocritical.
Here, it's like I just look at your face, Ollie, and I know that you're going to say something hot or something spicy, that you're thinking about something. Give me your thought here.
So no, I mean, I understand. Obviously, like they're trying to figure out who they think. This is one of those moments where I just felt like because it was after this kind of scene, you then have a confession from Sophie B where it was like, Stephen wrote my name down, so he has to go. Like, I'm happy to get rid of him now. And I thought to myself, final 11, weren't you begging for like Stephen's grace because you voted for him? And now he's voted for you. You're not offering that same grace. I only say that it's hypocritical in a sense of if that gets back to Stephen, Stephen can use that against her, against Sophie, if she was at a final tribal council. Because I know for a fact, I would sit there, and if someone had told me, oh no, as soon as Sophie knew that you'd voted for her, like she was gunning for you, I would sit there, and if I was Stephen, I'd be like, Sophie, don't worry, I'm going to make amends. I'm never going to write your name down again. And I'm going to say, that's what I'd say to her at final tribal council. It just felt like one of those, I was like, look, I know you're in the power position, but there's still a jury management, like social element that you have to kind of remember, because again, it was smart she did it in the confessional. If she did it like in person and said it to people, that can easily get back to Stephen. And if I was Stephen, I'd be like, so I'm voting for 2 other people over you. Like, that's how I'd feel. I was like, again, good thing it was in the confessional though.
Yeah, no, I definitely hear you. And look, like the one thing, okay, a couple things I want to call out here. One, I do think that it does show that this Power 4 is like, they are so on top of everything going on in this game for them to know, like, obviously, like, okay, we're voting for Steven, but even openly talk about Christina, knowing she has, I don't remember if everyone knows she has an idol at this point, but I know that at the very least, Sophie B knows, and I believe Sophie S also knows. She definitely knows by the end of this episode, but or even before the tribal this episode. But I say this just to say that they're openly being like, Christina, yeah, she's not with us, but she's not a threat. We don't have to worry about her. And just for them to openly say that, it's like, wow, like you would think that they are at home with us talking about the game, because they know, look, this woman has power in the game in the form of an idol, but we don't need to fear Christina. Maybe we need to fear where she puts her idol if she's going to play her idol for Steven. But they know openly, and they're talking openly about how they do not need to worry about Christina. And so again, I ask, are we going to see Christina targeted at all this game, or is she going to be the final 3 GOAT?
I don't know. It depends, because if this foursome continue acting the way that they are acting, they will need to get Christina out, because Christina will win based on the fact that she wasn't an asshole.
Really?
Yeah. Because if they was, I know this. If I was on that island and they were acting that smug in front of my face, Christina's getting my vote, and it's just because I'm like, you want to be petty, I'm going to be petty right back. Trust me, 2 can play at that game.
I imagine that you would win that game.
Oh, absolutely, 100%.
Also, just want to throw this out there. This is just hilarious. Zanz, aka New York, aka Riding the Wire, which is his other burner. Zanz, we love you in any form. And thank you. Make sure that you like and subscribe from all your accounts. We also have Ali. Christina has no winner potential. Whoa.
She has winner potential. She has winner potential. No, she doesn't.
Okay.
She doesn't.
Roy Jolly with the quotes here. Thank you.
No, I said this on Survivor Specialist. I do feel like she hasn't got winner potential at the moment. It could change, though. It could change. I did say on Survivor Specialist, her and Sophie S are the 2 people for me that don't have winner potential.
Oh, you're getting ahead of it. I'm going to be talking to you about Sophie S later in this episode. I promise. I have questions here. I'm already getting the eye roll. Roy Jolly confirming that he was listening. You sure did. You quoted him.
No.
The Hot Grim Reaper. Christina is the next Natalie White. Bold claim. Bold claim. What do we think?
Could happen.
Could happen.
Could easily happen.
All right. But alas, I do think. The second thing I wanted to say, I will say, and I agree with you about sort of how Sophie B is looking at Steven. but what I focused on there, I loved her just like complete casual even Steven reference, talking about how she was good with it. She was like, "We're even, Steven, we're even." I just think that's so funny to throw out the even Steven there.
It was quite long. Yeah.
Juwan and Sage check in. Juwan mentions that he was like, "Oh, should we be looking for an idol?" This is when Sage tells him, "Don't bother. Christina has it." Is this like again like I mean, you're right? It's Steven had the OG information, told one person. Sage has told several at this point. Is this like getting slippery slope? I guess we do know that by the end of this, Christina plays her idol, so maybe it's not going to fully blow up in her face. But like, this isn't the best play, right?
No, I mean, I think it's like how Sage described it, I think is really smart. Like I'm holding on to the information, which I think is really smart, because I think in the new era, a lot of people just blab. And I'm like, give yourself the power. Don't be stupid. So like waiting until she feels like it's the right time to give this information out, I think is a smart strategy. Do I think this was the best time to say this? No. But to be fair, it's not Sage. Sage, I don't think really was fully wrong in this situation.
Okay. Yeah, I'll say this. I think I'm with you in terms of I think that Sage telling Juwan is actually far less catastrophic than Sage telling anyone that's not Juwan. Yeah. And frankly, even Steven telling Sage. Because this truly is and has been Sage's number one for a long time now. And this is, this is just strengthening their relationship. What I will say, and I think it comes forth in the next slide here. Yep. Juwan has, and I love Juwan. I want to make that very clear. Like from jump, I have loved Juwan. I think that he has unreasonable expectations from his alliance members. Him being upset that Christina has not told him about this idol, despite the fact that, like, Juwan, you did not vote with Christina last episode, despite the fact that Christina gave up her spot at reward for you. And you also left Steven out of the vote. And you're sitting here giving Steven a test of loyalty when, frankly, if Steven can look at the last tribal as anything close to a test of loyalty, you failed his test. So how can you be sitting there and be upset about Steven not telling you this and Christina not divulging all of her info when you sort of just slighted them? I mean, what did you think about this? Am I the only one thinking like this?
No, I really want to know what it's like to live in blissful ignorance, because that's what it really was. Like, Juwan, I love you, buddy. The fact that you sat there and were like, "This is a test," and I'm like, mate, you literally just blindsided Steven and Christina, and you still think they owe you information. No. Like, no. I generally watched it and I just thought, if I watched this back, I would have like messaged him and been like, I love you. But are you serious? Yeah. It was I think this is where we saw the things start kind of become awry, because again, this is where I thought Juwan did really bad socially, because if you think that you're going to blind someone and they're still going to give you information, absolutely not.
You're out your mind. Yeah. You're out your mind for that. You can't expect, it can't be a one-way street. Yeah. And I just think that, again, I wrote down in my notes here, I literally wrote, I think that Juwan has an unreasonable expectation from his alliance members. Because it's true. I think that he just wants them to be far more loyal to him than he has ever shown to be for them. Yeah, and that's what happens in this game, man. You can't expect that of the people that you're around. You know,
especially once you've just blindsided them.
Right. Something I didn't notice, I'm noticing now. Check those socks. Those are pretty groovy.
I was going to say, aren't they fire?
Okay, next in the episode, we have, again, just like, I feel awful because this just was such a tough episode for Christina, just like all around. we have another sort of like very emotional conversation between Christina and Steven. And I believe that this is where she mentions that she wanted to go home.
Yeah.
And I already posed the question. You don't think she's ever going to quit? I mean, are we just seeing all this to show how tough Survivor is still? Like, is this okay? So that's what all this is to you.
Yeah, generally, I think it's like, because she very much said, "I'm just having a really low day," and I think to sit there again as a viewer and think, "Oh, no one ever thinks about quitting." There has been many a Survivor that have stated after the show. There were many times that they were like, "Oh, I just want to go. I just want to quit. Can't be bothered." Like there are times there it takes emotional toll. We are just seeing Christina's emotional toll and where she expresses it. That it's her low day. She's really feeling down, and we get the backstory of obviously like her and her mum. And I think that's what it was. It was more so they were creating the story. They were giving Christina a little bit more backstory, and I think that's what it was. To me, it really isn't like she wants to quit. I think it's just the producers are like, right, this is Christina's low day. Let's give this content so that the public, the viewers, feel sorry for her and like kind of endear to her. I'm like, that's what it came across as.
Yeah. I mean, right here we got Roy Jolly saying Christina is really the only cast member not acting like they are at summer camp right now. But you know what? I hear that, but then I also, with love, and we're going to talk about it later, from like a lot of different strokes of Christina this episode. Christina also, to me, is sort of seeming like the only contestant that feels like they maybe can't handle this. And I say that with love because I am happy that she was cast, but I want Survivor to cast people that can handle Survivor to a certain extent. People that are going to struggle and be able to speak about their struggles, but you don't want people crumbling so far that, all of their scenes in a single episode is about how they can't handle it. And I think that like that is what we got from Christina this whole episode, from the challenge, from, again, we'll get to it later, but her conversation with Savannah, to, just even how she started this episode to, it's really every step along the way. I would love to hear your thoughts. Feel free to detest me. I know that you don't need, my permission for that. But I just, that really is my thought. And it's because it doesn't feel good as a viewer to see this personally.
I'm not going to detest you. I'd never do that. But I would disagree. Because at the end of the day, and you actually said it yourself. You even said this episode. It's not like it's happened the entire time. So the reason I push back is because this is just Christina's low day. Like, it's just like, again, if all we're going to do is look at everyone's like kind of mid to like positive moments, there's going to be no ebb and flow with the season. This is Christina's struggle at the end of the day. So that's why like I'm not like Meryl, like I'm not like I'm bothered by it because like we need that sometimes. It was like Savannah when she had her story about having the co-workers be mean to her. We see it later in the episode where Rizzo has his down moment. So it's like I think everyone can have their down day, and it might just be that it's a full down day for them, and that's what we're going to see. If it was consistent, if it was just this the entire like down here the entire time, then I probably would be like, come on, like do something else. But we have seen ebb and flow with Christina, so that's why I'm kind of like, it's fine for me. Throwing
in some positivity here. She does look like a great hugger.
She does.
I will take a hug from Christina any day. Truly.
Same.
This is the most wicked thing I think I've ever seen commented or posted anywhere. Imagine Christina's mom's still alive and it's just an act for a final 3 speech. If that would be the craziest heel turn if she was doing a Johnny Fairplay. I don't think that there is a world in this realm where that is the case. That would be nuts. Truly insane. But I guess, look, maybe we'll see. We'll have to wait. But I doubt it. We go to the challenge. And again, this is sort of where, the real focus here is what happens during the challenge match. Anything that you wanna bring up here? I mean, I just think that this was just an incredibly sad moment.
Yeah.
Not not a moment for me where I'm sitting like I don't blame the woman at all. I mean, my mom is one of the closest people that I have in my life.
Yeah.
Maybe the closest, and I think that anyone who is sorry just behind Ollie, uh, but I do think that anyone who is going to take and look again, there is room for criticism. I always want to
Yeah.
leave room for criticism. I've
Yes.
spoken up about. I've already talked about how I think that there are moments where it shows that Christina cannot handle some things on the show. This, in my opinion, is something that I actually do not necessarily like. It is a point in what I'm saying, but this is not the main point because this is so understandable. It's unreal. This is a
Yeah.
woman who just lost her mother. Like, there's probably no tougher thing in this world than to lose a family member, especially a parent. And I think it's just understandable when you're going through all these low moments. Like, the person to help you out is usually your parents, and she does not have that. And she's thinking about
Yeah.
that. It seems like this happened pretty recently. Like I'm happy that they gave her the space here, and I actually really like how Jeff dealt with this.
Yes.
And
Agreed.
I'm so sorry. I feel like I started off being like, "What do you think about this?" And I'm just telling you what I think about it. But I also just love how it was edited. Where they sort of have Jeff's sort of riffing just completely drowned out in the back as she is sort of preparing to let it all out and have this release moment. Because I think that we've all felt this, whether it be about this specifically or not. It is relatable. But I'm sorry. What's your thought on it?
No, the big takeaway you kind of mentioned it was Jeff, and I will say, like again, we all know that I can be very hot and cold with Mr. Jeffrey, but I will say I did like how he handled this situation because for once he didn't really say much. He literally he did smart thing of what would your mum say in this moment? What would your mum do? And he kind of understood where Christina's head was and went, I kind of know what I need to do here to help her. And it's what would your loved one that you're missing currently say? So that's what I do give massive props to Jeff for, because he was able to kind of calm Christina down, remind her of this without kind of having to do too much. It wasn't like it's a me moment. Very much Jeff was over there like he should be. So yeah, I give Jeff a lot of kind of credit. I do also appreciate Jawan kind of going around Sage and kind of coming close to Christina and being that support system for her. So I also will give Jawan that credit as well.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, no, I thought that this was dealt with just in the exact way that it should have been. And again, thankful that Christina got the moment to sort of just be able to talk about what she's feeling, because I know that this could not have been easy with everything going on.
Yes.
Anything else in the challenge that you want to call out? To me, I think that was just. That was even more than the challenge itself. I think that was the focus.
Yeah.
There.
I mean, well done, Christina. You got over the beam. I know that was a big thing of people were like, oh, you got over the beam. I'm like, well done, regardless. I'm like, you did it. Because do you know what? Half the people probably crapping on you couldn't do it themselves. So enjoy eating your potato chips on the couch. I did like the end of the challenge where it was the swing and the book, because that was like a little new addition. And I do like that we're seeing these new little things, because it actually does show that Survivor's paying attention and not getting stale. So I did appreciate that part. I'm
with you. I'm definitely with you. I mean, anytime I see a new sort of device used, a new element to the game, it's so appreciated. So yes, tiny Ollie claps for that. Now, after challenge, the losing tribe is having an unbelievably low moment in the losing half, and we don't always focus on when the losing, rather we always sort of get a little bit from each side, but there are some times where it's one or two people are low, but it just feels like the whole morale of this losing chunk was especially negative this episode. Rizzo seems to be taking the loss very hard. He feels to blame. They're trying to hype him up. Christina obviously is just still in such a tough place post challenge. Anything you want to add?
would it be really hypocritical of me to be like, "Get over it, Rizzo"? No, I'm joking. Imagine. Like, that thought generally just came to my head. Like, imagine if I just sat here now and was like, "Nah, he don't need to cry." I'd be like, "No." But no, I think again, it's one of those you can see the toll it takes, like the game takes, and I think again we saw this. This was Rizzo's low moment,
Mhm.
and I think it's good because we want to see those low moments and those high moments because it's not just stagnant. And like again, I feel like with Rizzo, again, not been the biggest fan of him because it's always been Rizzo and all that stuff. Like it's always been this kind of like really upbeat person. So I liked it that there was a little low moment. We could see the vulnerability. We need to see it. So shady.
Yeah.
Okay. But yeah, I also like the fact that we then saw, and I hope we can go to the next slide for this. It was obviously Jawan
Yes.
then kind of being like, "Yeah, I'm going to go catch fish," and it's like I appreciated it because it's like you saw that his caring nature, but then also like we finally saw someone fish again. I feel like we rarely see people fish on Survivor, so to see people fish, I'm like, considering the last time we saw this, we saw like Rizzo like penguining, trying to get into the water and then flopping. So I did enjoy the fact that we actually got to see someone fish.
Yeah, and look, the guy caught a absolute minnow, but once again, exactly, he did something, and it was a very kind gesture considering we saw that every single person was really struggling on this tribe camp coming back this half. On the other end, let me just say, those burgers looked immaculate, like truly immaculate. I was into it. I know that sometimes we poo-poo on the challenges, but I forgot you're a vegetarian. There's nothing here for you. Aren't you a vegetarian? Am I did I that wrong? Okay, hold on, because
I've never been a vegetarian.
When we were in person together, me, you, and Matthew, you were eating meat.
Yes, the burger place.
Right. I don't know why. I thought you got like a veggie burger. Wait, I feel like the same thing. I feel like Matt said the same thing at the time. I feel like we thought that you were vegetarian, but you're not. You give like vegetarian vibes. Okay, well then apologies.
Not.
I'm wondering, did you not find these burgers? Did they not look as delicious to you as they did to me?
No, it was just the fact that it's the sanctuary. It's a reward. Great. They get one burger, one hot dog.
Those burgers looked fat.
They did, but one. Sorry,
yeah.
Sanctuary where shit things happen. I'm so sorry for swearing. I'm so sorry for saying a naughty word. I hate the Sanctuary with a vile passion.
Oh my gosh. Yeah, I mean, look, I definitely was looking at the burgers and I was like, these look freaking good. And they do not always look good. But also, I don't think we have a slide for it, but not a crazy amount of strat talk here. But I do think that the biggest thing that we did get is just the Sage and Sophie of it all. Yeah. And this is going to be a sort of consistent theme this episode. Sage really opening up to Sophie, not realizing that Sophie is just absolutely not with her. And I think that with love, we've given Sage a lot of love on this podcast. Sage really messed up this episode. I feel like she was a lot of what went wrong this episode because she just divulged way too much to the person that was ultimately there to undermine anything that they were putting together in Sophie. Do you agree? Disagree? What do you think?
I have no feelings. I feel like I was too mad about the Sanctuary that I didn't really listen to anything about the Sanctuary.
Oh my God. Well, as a reminder, Sage spills to Sophie that she is thinking of voting Savannah. Savannah is the name. That is her master plan. Obviously gives Sophie the ammo to go right back to Savannah and tell her that Sage and Jawan are not they're thinking about voting you off.
Wait, was it Sage? I swear my brain's just thought that maybe Sophie said it first.
Nope. It was Sage going to Sophie saying, hey, Savannah is the plan. And obviously, Sophie is playing along, being like, yeah, we're totally on. Yeah, Savannah. But we know as the audience that Sophie is absolutely with Savannah. And this is just not the person that you go to tell your the inner workings of your plans to. And Sage was really trusting her and divulging everything. I actually think that at this point, Sage felt like she was working very closely with Sophie S.
Yeah.
And it just wasn't the case. And so I think that like this was sort of the start of the end here.
Fair enough.
Yeah. Also, Hot Grim Reaper saying that they are so over the gross talk from Sage. I don't know if I mentioned it at the start, but there was sort of, I was never the biggest fan of it from the jump, but I did find it funny that she did have Juwan tell the rest of them that she was having such bad gas that there was no way they were talking about strategy. They were actually just talking about the fact that she was so gassy. I don't think that would work with anyone but Sage. And so that is sort of capitalizing on what you have, what you have to your name. So I think that worked out. What do we have here? It was much better than the usual fare. Talking about the food here. Just want to throw out, the food looked good. I want bacon, fried egg, and coleslaw.
Oh, I would love.
Right.
I don't like cheese, but take the cheese part out and the coleslaw.
We're on Survivor, okay? This isn't the Four Seasons, all right?
No, I'm still picky when I'm on Survivor.
Oh dear. We get back to the losing tribe, and we see boys on the bench. Thoughts?
My thoughts is how Rizzo looks is how I felt about it.
You know what? This is why sometimes I jump on saying things first. We just think so similarly sometimes, Ollie, and sometimes we don't. But I literally wrote here, boys on the bench, get Ollie's thoughts. I just loved Rizzo rapping while face palming. I just think it's so funny. Boys
I will say it was better than fried chicken and waffles. 10 times better than that. But what I did appreciate from Rizzo was the SpongeBob reference. And if you know, you know.
Please remind me. I don't know if I caught that.
Gonna sing around the campfire.
Oh, yes. Okay. Actually, I did think that. You're right. That was good. It's not clocking to you, Ollie.
It's clocking to me straight away. I heard it and I went.
You gotta know that reference, right? It's like the Justin Bieber. Okay. Anyways, I just thought this was funny. Very unserious moment, especially for a final 8. But I liked it. I'm happy that they slipped this in here. I was not mad at this. Now again, we have the powers that be, but again, it's ironic because at this point, Sage and Juwan feel like they have one over on the other 3, but soon come. Right. Okay. You can also just skip right to this. And by the way, Ollie, I want to say this here. I've been waiting to say this.
Mm-hmm.
I put in my notes as well. Sage gave a classic Ollie. No. Okay.
No.
Did you also think this? Because I was sitting here.
Yeah.
I was like, that's Ollie. Oh my God.
Girl after my own heart. Honestly, I'd turn straight for her. Yeah, loved it. I just loved literally as soon as you had Savannah give her confessional, and then it was this pan straight to Sage where it was silence. I was like, no matter what she said, I'm gonna be like, and then she said no. I was like, loved it. Loved Sage. Can't tell me she wasn't iconic.
We do get again, I'm not sure if we have it here, but we do get another Steven and Sage sort of talk about Savannah being the vote after this. Yeah. We really didn't need to see this again because it's the same plan every single time. And over and over and over again. And what I will say is it does make Savannah look like untouchable, for her name to always be flown out and it never ended up happening. Kudos to you, Savannah. I mean, truly. But we are going to go right to our challenge after a quick word from one of our sponsors.
Welcome to Bracketology, fantasy sports for reality TV. Bracketology provides fantasy football and bracket-style games for Survivor and 33 other reality TV and award shows. We offer free-to-play, season-long fantasy games for Survivor across 4 different game types, ranging from a March Madness-style bracket to weekly elimination confidence pools, and finally to a fantasy football-style game where you draft a team of contestants each week. Depending on what they do and say during the episode, based on a predetermined list of rules, is how they earn or lose points. You can create and join a public league, like the Survivor Now League, or you can create private leagues with your friends. Make sure to check back in after the episode to see how your teams did. In addition, Bracketology also offers daily fantasy pools. Utilizing 2 in-app currencies, coins and bucks, users can enter pools with either currency, answering a slew of multiple choice questions about what they think will happen during the episode, or about other related Survivor or other pop culture news and contests. The top 25% of point scorers in each currency will receive a split of the prize pot. Play with coins for fun to climb the social leaderboard, or play with bucks for your chance to earn real cash prizes. Download the Bracketology app for free today. Good luck.
We're
Can I
back.
just say, with Bracketology, because you know how we always have the same person, Logan, son of a bitch, is always winning. I've just checked Bracketology. He's in second place now, so it's very hot on that front for the Survivor Now one.
I love it. I love it. I love it. I tell you what, for our fantasy pool, I know that I was like in the lead for a while because I had both Jawan and Savannah on my bracket. Now that Jawan is gone, I need Savannah to continue to light it up because I'm starting to get nervous that I do not have as commanding of a lead these days.
Hopefully next week, hopefully after next week's episode, we will have another updated draft for people.
Just want to call it out right at the top here. Again, another new element in a challenge. I don't think we've ever seen this. I loved it. Right here, it seems more visually appealing than challenging, though. Perhaps, even so, I just love to do something new, right? I mean, how often are we getting new things these days? So shout out Survivor for that. Any other things to call out for this challenge? It was very close. What I will say is the only thing that I really have is like, shout out Sophie. Sophie is really emerging. Sophie S is really emerging as a big character. Please, Ollie, go ahead.
I want to talk crap about the rice.
Oh, we have to. Okay. You know what? Let's slow down. We absolutely have to. We absolutely have to. Please, I'll let you start.
Do you know what? It was really funny. Everyone was like, no. And then Juwan was like, a quarter of the rice for 2. And then it was Jeff was like, do you know what? You've all answered the question. Let's just move on. I love that it kind of just, Jeff was like, do you know what? I'm not going to get anywhere with you lot. Let's just carry on. It does beg the question, is rice negotiations over? Or can it evolve in some way? Like, I don't know. This really made me feel like, what is the point in rice negotiations?
Yeah, I personally, I think it's over. I feel like this was, in a weird way, if I'm just going to call it, I don't know if you guys use the same term. We use something in America called jumping the shark. This was jumping the shark. Have you heard that, Ollie?
I've heard of jumping the gun.
Yeah, I mean, it's pretty similar, but I actually think that this is specific to television because I actually think that look, I could be wrong about this. Someone fact check me, but I believe it has to do with a Seinfeld episode or an episode of Seinfeld or Friends where like they physically had someone jumping a shark. It's basically like when all the toothpaste is squeezed out of the tube, it is now worse for the show to do this than it is good for the show to continue doing this.
Right.
It's not getting us anything. It's not fun. It's actually just a waste of time. Happy Days episode. There we go. I knew it was one of those old. Yeah, Fonzie jumped a shark. There we go. Yeah, that's what. Okay, there we go. There we go. Yeah. It's like, but it basically is just like, okay, we've run out of ideas. We're trying too hard. It has been a negotiation since Angelina. Let's go. I agree with that.
Yeah.
Let it stay for 50, if only because of Angelina. I might have gotten to a point. I think that even on 50, I don't need to see it. I would rather see more character moments from our folks than to see this.
We will.
You know,
we will because Angelina will be like, so Jeffrey. Be like, yes, queen.
This is what I'll say. If we see it on 50, it'll be a better version than we've seen in the past 6 seasons. True.
Yes.
We just haven't seen this like spun to an exciting degree. Yeah. Maybe the last time was maybe 47, where Rachel is like, hey, what if we give up all of our shot in the darks? And,
Yes,
and
that was good.
yeah, that was fun. And I believe that at that point, Rachel had already used her shot in the dark. So it was like she was the only one to benefit from that. That was pretty neat. I thought that was interesting.
That was.
But again, I mean, do you think that there's anything left here?
No. I would rather much talk about the challenge than Bryce again now.
Yeah, I'm with you. Again, just like I like this. A lot of cool elements to the challenge.
Yes, I really loved the different elements. Because, like, again, the tube was fun. Like, visually, whatever, it was great. I liked this as well. Because, again, there was just a fun element. The teeter-tot, loved it. And then ending with a puzzle. Again, I feel like, in terms of just obstacle course style challenges, great one.
Mm-hmm.
And just one that everyone's going to enjoy. So, well done, Survivor.
I just want to call out, again, I started to talk about this before remembering, far more important is to detest the rice negotiation. But I do just want to call out, like, shout out Sophie. Sophie S. has seriously emerged as an enormous character and, in my opinion, contender to win this game. And I think that, like, and again, I do want to talk about this maybe later in the episode, but it's just like, I think that now more than ever, I think Sophie S can win. And I think that it's going to be a shame that she gets an Erica Winners edit where Erica was just like absolutely a nobody before. Hold on. Okay. I see my name in a comment and I got distracted immediately. Okay. All right. Look, wow. We'll put Sophie on the S tier. I kind of did. I mean, maybe not S tier, but she's certainly no longer in like D or F tier. I think that she has worked her way up to being a contender to me. I mean, she's winning challenges. She's ahead of strategy. And we got a confessional from her. I believe it was before the challenge, which is the reason why I wanted to bring it up here, where she essentially is just like, she fully understands and knows that she is in the middle. She is the swing vote. And for her to be able to know her place there, know how advantageous that puts her positioning, and just being able to like hold on to her power there, I'm just like, kudos to you. Kudos to you, Sophie. I just like have really liked how we've seen her emerge in this season. Do you see her as a contender to win, or do you think that I'm
Nope.
What's your beef? Ollie? What's going on here?
I actually said this on Specialist. I don't want to say I disdain, like I have so much disdain for Sophie.
Oh my God, what did she do?
I just don't, okay, and I actually, obviously, I've made this point. I'm not a fan of her, but you know this, Phil. If I ever met her in real life, I would give her absolutely full grace.
Yep.
I don't know her. I know her as Sophie the player. I don't know her as Sophie the person. If she was to come on this podcast, I'd have no issue with her. From the player standpoint, though, I said this because we were talking about, like, I can't remember what the conversation was. We were talking about people having hearts and and I literally said, it was so funny that we were talking about people having heart, and I was like, Sophie just comes across slightly game heartless. And I think that is my kind of the crux of where I'm kind of sat there with Sophie, just because we'll get into the pre-tribal, but I think it was the first confessional we had, like, after the immunity going into the pre-tribal. And it was Sophie talking where she was like, at the end of the good day, it's a game and like everyone's got to get on with it. Like, people are moaning that they're on the bottom. And I thought to myself, I was like, Sophie, at the start of this game, you wanted that same grace. You wanted people to work with you. You were getting frustrated when people weren't working with you. And I've just noticed that as soon as she's gotten into this power position, it's like, well, got to get over it. And I'm thinking, like, hold on, no, you wanted people to give you that, like, that chance. So now it's like, now that you've got that power, it's like everyone just needs to get over it. It didn't sit right with me from a game standpoint. Again, I could meet her in real life, could get along like a house on fire. Just from this moment, I was very much just like, and I also agree with Isabel in the chat. I don't think she can get the votes, depending, like, I do not think she can get the votes. I really don't.
It's weird. I feel like she can. And I think because it really comes down to this right here, right? Just as I don't know if Hina like her too much. dude, I don't know if anyone on this game likes Savannah that much. But we still love her as an audience, and it's very clear to see Savannah can absolutely win. And I think that there comes a point, right? There is an intersection between being respected for the moves that you have made and being able to speak to what you've done in the game and how much people like you. And I think that there is, obviously, I think the number one perfect example of this is Tony in his first season. People hated Tony. I think that a part of the reason why so many people didn't see him winning is because he was spoken about so negatively throughout the entire season. Rare do we hear them call, the person who's going to end up being a winner an idiot, a dummy, a moron, a bully, all these crazy, all these things that we heard Tony's cast members call him. And he gets to the end, and it didn't stop at the jury, right? When he's speaking with the jury, he is being ripped apart until Spencer gets up there and it's guys, if you vote for anyone that's not Tony, you're not playing. You don't have any respect for this game. You got to vote for the person who played the best, and it was Tony. And I just think that I think that for both Sophie and Savannah, they're not necessarily loved personally. I think that honestly, more so Savannah is not loved personally. I think that people think she's too intense. But I do think that they have enough respect from people. And Isabella put it right here, right? But they respect Savannah. I believe that they respect Sophie too. You even hear how they were speaking about her at the top of Merge, right? It wasn't, oh my God, we don't have to worry about her, sadly, like they're speaking about Christina. It was a lot more, this woman is a challenge beast. This woman is gonna, she's gonna have her way with us if we don't get her out of here. And so I think that being able to bring in her true strategy that people maybe haven't seen the whole of, in addition to the reasons why they were already fearful of her at the top of Merge, might be enough to push her over the edge. But I'd love to hear your thoughts and maybe pull in some of these other comments here. Yep.
This one, yeah.
Mm-hmm.
But I think it is the fact that I think we also have to look at the fact of, does she respect, not saying she doesn't respect the players, but does she respect the moves? Because it's again, I know I'm jumping the gun here, but obviously we won't talk about it. The preview for next episode. We see her say to Sage, I can't remember what it was now, but something along the lines of, I'm not going to apologize for a game decision. And I think that's where I'm kind of losing Sophie, in the sense of, you can absolutely not have to apologize for a game decision. I don't think she has to apologize for the game moves she's made. Absolutely not. But I think ignoring the human, emotional element, I think that's what's going to hurt her. Because again, I don't think you can separate game and emotions. I don't think you can separate game and kind of personal feelings, emotions. They are intertwined no matter how much you like it. And I think that's what Sophie's trying to do. Sophie's trying to be dismiss anything emotional and only look at it from a game standpoint. And I think that's what's going to hurt her.
That's fair. I do think that there is some validity there. Honestly, this is why I love talking Survivor with my friend Ali. Because even when we disagree, it's I see your logic. I definitely don't want to feel like I'm sitting here being you don't know what you're talking about. I hear what you're saying.
You don't want to do what Sophie does and dismiss. Love that.
Oh, here we go. It's still brought back to Sophie. Look, we'll have to see where this lies. But I do think that one thing that, just to pull this up, one, to give people a little bit more time to finish reading it if you're not, in the comments here. But also, I do think that there is something to be said about what was shown of her even prior to Merge, right? Her dissing the fruit, challenge the negotiation. I even will say, Alex, during his exit interview, talks about the fact that, people didn't know what to think of, people sort of had a negative view of Sophie due to her match chats.
Yep.
And say that, people, and I think that there's validity to that. I think that if I saw someone being so overtly negative at a match chat, especially early in the game, where it's we're just supposed to be happy to be here, there's a part of me that probably would have thought similarly, where it's dude, who is this chick? She's dissing the fruit. Dude, It's day 8. Like, let's be thankful, you know?
It's the awareness. It's the social kind of like awareness of how you're being portrayed. And I think she may have like not realized it. Again, she may have, and that's totally fine if that's authentically her, that's absolutely fine. Again, we all know me. I am a blunt, like we all know that I can be a sassy little so totally get it. But yeah, I think I've said enough. I don't want to sound like I'm ragging on her because I do feel bad about it. But sorry, Sophie. Love you really. If we ever meet in person, I'm sure I will be nice to you because I will give you a fair shot. Just know.
We go, back to the tribe camps. First of all, I just think this is so funny. Just from everyone talking about how Rizzo has been a little bit, sipping his own Kool-Aid here. And him just being like, him talking to Savannah about how them sort of sharing in the fact that it is hard to not be too confident in this game. Again, I just love players like this. I love players that are like more confident than they should be, and players that are just as confident as they should be, but not afraid to show it. There's something fun about watching players like that. And I know, Ollie, you sometimes get annoyed at players like that, but
what it is, it's kind of just one of those, it comes across like it's dismissing jury management and like dismissing kind of some key social plays. And that's what I've noticed with Rizzo. And I've said this before, like, it's just, I think this was another little thing where we see people saying that he's being quite confident. He's being a little bit cocky. And I think this was just another little nod to it. Yep. Sorry about it.
Yeah, no, I mean, that's fair. I'll tell you what, I agree with you there. And then we see Sophie again. And this is where I will say, with all due respect to Roy Jolly, your take here, which you're saying you don't think that she's in the middle position because one side is a strong 4, other side is just 4 individuals. Sure. But at the end of the day, these 3, the 4 individuals are going after one person on one side. The strong 4 does include her, but people do not realize that she is in there, and they're sharing information with her.
Yeah,
and that other side is targeting someone from the other. So wherever Sophie lands or who she is the one with all the information.
Yeah,
right here we see her weaponizing that, telling Rizzo and Savannah, "Hey, Sage and Juwan are flipping." She's able to say that with confidence. They are not with us, and I know that for a fact because I heard it from their mouths. Right. She also, I believe this is where, she also tells them, hey, by the way, also, Christina has an idol, which is like, she has spilled everything. Thank you, Roy. I love our viewers. It's tough to see people, again, I really do think that this was at the sort of like, the incorrect read of Sage. Sage sharing so much info with Sophie, absolutely not realizing that Sophie's on the other side of this other power group. And it almost makes me wonder, I go, dude, like, how do you miss this? Like, she must really be doing an all right job, not showing her cards. And we also get scenes like this where we see the 4 all talking. Like this is not the first time that we've seen them grouped up, having their little powwows, trying to figure out what they're doing. And I'm like, is no one else seeing this? Like, what do you make of this, Ollie?
I think it comes from the fact that obviously, like, those 3 did give kind of Sophie a chance. Like, I think they capitalized on the fact that Sophie was feeling dismissed, and they were like, "We will pull you in. Here is the info that we have," and I think that's what has kind of helped Sophie in this sense because obviously, from the other side's perspective, they still are working with Sophie. Like, Sophie is not going against them. Like, they see Sophie as a number. And that's not the case. And again, that is very good on Sophie's part because she is able to play that middle part. Do I think she has squandered it the next episode? That's what we have to wait and see. But for this particular episode, she was 100% in the middle. Because again, when it came down to them finding out about the idol and then wanting to change things, Savannah and Sophie both said, we want to talk to Sophie S to see what she thinks. Because at the end of the day, they want her to be included. And again, that's a smart kind of read on them to keep Sophie on their side because they know if they were to do something and not include Sophie, she'd get pissed.
And I'll just say this too, like for the four that aren't in power necessarily, to even think that Sophie would come back around and work with them, like I just don't. Again, like I don't see where they're getting that confidence from. And I think like on the alternate side, we hear in this same scene, we hear from Rizzo saying, I fully trust Sophie. Sophie is 100% with us, and she has proved that. And there is like hard evidence of that being so true in her telling that group not only about the fact that, hey, Juwan and Sage are not with you. I've talked to both of them. They were planning on voting you, Savannah, to following that up by being like, oh yeah, and by the way, Christina has an idol. I have this info. These are things that can be like fully qualified as being true statements. And it's certainly by the end of this episode, it's like, how can you not have full trust in Sophie now? You know? And on the other side, I just don't see where she's done that for them to cultivate enough trust in having her on their side. And so when information is shared with her, I'm like, man, like, I just don't see how you could have done that with confidence, you know? But I will say, I do think Sophie is doing a good job, whether we're seeing it or not, at playing this middle point, because both sides really do trust her.
Yeah.
Now we go to, oh God, this conversation was everything. And I think that, like, I think more often than not, I feel like Savannah in these conversations here, because it has happened where I can be a very intense guy, even when I'm just being myself and I'm, you know, and you know, the people are like, well, you know, relax. And I'm like, oh, I'm literally fine. This is just sometimes how I talk about things that I'm serious about. And this is exactly what you saw here. I don't think that Savannah did anything wrong at all. And look, she was blunt, straightforward, but you know, I think it's also two things can be true. And I think that she is very intense, but she knows that. I don't think that she did anything wrong. And I think that Christina, especially given everything that's been going on with her recent game, I don't think that she could handle someone being this intense with her. And I do think that she reacted, in my opinion, in a bit of an overreacting way. That did lead me to go, oh man, like I don't know if Christina can handle this game. Because really, Christina went up to Savannah here, trying to fool her. The plan that she derived with Steven was like, we had to just throw her a false name. And Savannah clocking this, and that's the thing. Savannah, at this point, if I'm being honest, she's playing with her food, right? Like, you've heard that, you know, it's when you're playing a video game with your little cousin, your little brother, and you're just far and away better than them, and you just sort of play with your food a little bit. Maybe you're playing Mario Kart, and you let yourself slow down to fifth, and then you speed up and still get first. You know, you let yourself go behind your cousin just to hit him with a red shell, and then you speed off in front of him. Like, she's playing with her food here because she knows Christina's not with her. But I just thought that this was a wildly entertaining interaction and really spoke to both of their characters. What did you think? But just to substantiate my claim, we are. I've been seeing this thrown around a lot this past week, and I want to hear your thoughts on everything, Ollie.
First of all, let's not judge Christina off one episode. But number two, did you refer to yourself as an intense gal? I swear I heard you say that, and I was like, Phil, intense gal? Okay.
I can be an intense gal. I'll take it.
Generally thought that's what my brain had, and I went, But anyway, look, at the end of the day, love Savannah. And yeah, she is intense, but like you said, she absolutely acknowledged it and actually used it to her advantage here because she was able to completely read Christina because, like, as soon as Christina was like, I'm going to need to take a moment, like, even I would have sat there and been like, okay, they're voting for me. That's fine. Because, like, no one needs just to take a moment. And it kind of then leads on to her conversation with Juwan, where she's kind of, like, again, where you said playing with your food, I felt like she was playing with her food a little bit here with Juwan.
100%. And she said in the confessional. She was. She was playing with her food here. She was like, I know this guy's not with me, but I'm not going to let Juwan know that. In fact, I'm just going to have a little bit of fun here. Being like, Juwan, this is going to be a perfect way for you to sort of show me how loyal you are to me. This will really, really tell. And it's just so hilarious with her knowing. And I think what's sort of really wild here is at this point, I didn't even fully know that they were going to be voting off Juwan. I was pretty surprised there.
Yeah.
Because really the names that we heard thrown around were really just mostly Steven, from that side. And for them to flip it to Juwan, and for that conversation to happen before Tribal is pretty wild. But why don't you get us started here?
Well, yeah, because obviously this is actually where Savannah actually reveals that she has the extra vote. So no matter what, they can do a 5-4. And this is really where I do give the editors a lot of credit, because we went into that tribal council thinking, is it Sage, is it Steven, or is it Juwan? And there was no clear reasoning. Like they when they spoke about Juwan and Sage, it was Savannah kind of really wanted to go for Sage. Sophie really wanted to go for Juwan. And then Steven's name was still brought up from Sophie being like, well, maybe I would still feel more comfortable doing Steven at the end of it. So it kind of came down to that. Are they going to go for the safe option, Steven, or are they going to go for the people that are playing the middle? And do they want to get vengeance, or do they want to go for a strategy? Like, do they want to go for another option? And like, that's where I was like, we really don't know what's going on here. Yeah. And I'm here for it because I like that suspense.
I'm with you. And you're right. I mean, and it was pretty wild. This being the last conversation before Tribal, and this being the first conversation where we hear a name outside Steven or Christina for a second, was just thrown out. It really is between outside of Steven and Savannah. And it all obviously came to a head right where it should at Tribal. Highlights from Tribal.
I mean, I can't remember much from the Tribal.
Outside of
the talkie, probably, obviously, we'll get to why these three are reacting like that. By the way, I know we've not done it. MC sparks all around. MC is always serving with her jury looks.
True.
So sorry, Nate and Alex, but
I'm with you. Yeah, no, MC has been a total serve. Alex really doesn't look that different. I felt like Nate looks so different. I kept saying I feel like he looks like Barack Obama almost.
I fully could not put a photo of Nate when it came to the jury because I like spooked in the sense of like I did not expect that complete change because he had obviously like a really like I'm saying this with love, Nate. You look so much better with a beard.
Yeah,
I'm saying that with absolute love. Like I just saw the non-beard and went, Nate, what? So yeah.
I will say, with a beard, I don't think that Obama even came to my mind. The second that you cut your beard, I was like, this guy looks just like Barack Obama. What the hell? Anywho, yeah, that's right. Let's throw some Ollie endorsement in there. Nate and Alex for president, 2028. That's right. They can sort of.
I'll touch it.
You got it. But yeah, and it's funny. I mean, I guess Alex is in the right business for that. But I'm sort of with you. I think that what I remember, what stuck out to me less in this Tribal was the sort of hoopla ahead of it. And a lot of what stuck out was obviously this moment here where Rizzo goes up, really makes a show of it. And he does talk about in this exact Tribal about how this is sort of like theater. This is where you can sort of show off. You could be a little bit cocky. He spoke about it before doing exactly that, which makes everything that he's doing seem very intentional. But again, is this too much?
Yeah. I was like, I understand the play. Because again, it is very like Rachel coded. And I completely respect that. Obviously, just FYI, I don't have a picture of Christina giving the idol, but that was obviously the jury's reaction because the jury were reacting to Christina playing it on Steven. But to me, it was, can I speak? Can I say a little something? And I just thought, this is going to come across like, was it needed? And if he makes it to the end, the jury are going to go, was it needed? Was your speech needed? You could have played the idol and like said whatever and just played the idol and then looked for reactions. But the speech, it just felt too much. because if I, again, and I'm speaking about this, if I was in that position, if I was on the jury, if I was sitting there with them, again, I mean, I think Amy said it here. He went up there because he wanted to see everyone's reactions, which I think is fair. Like, you want to see the reactions. But I think just the speech just was an overkill.
And I'll tell you what, I'm actually with you, Amy. I did wonder at the start. I said, what was the whole point of this? Like, was this all true theater that he just wanted to sort of be the center of attention and show? It's like, oh, I'm going to use the idol. Oh, psych, it's a phony. Also, I knew it was a phony because I'm sitting down and I'm smiling and I'm going, oh, I'm good to go, Jeff. You know, like, but then you're doing it on Savannah, again, showing that you know where the votes are going to go. Like, was this just, I mean, right here, nobody likes a showboat hot dogger. Like, it's just, again, like, was this all just an attempt? Was this what Amy said? Were you just trying to see reactions to know if you're going to play your real idol? Or was this partially you just taking a victory lap and being like, yeah, I know everything that's going on in this game. I know you guys were going to go after Savannah. So here I'm playing it for Savannah. Ha ha ha, psych. I'm laughing at you guys because we don't even need this tonight. And this is actually not even a real idol. I just wanted to do this to get up on stage and do my little jokes and get a little extra, get a little extra time on stage. And I think it's a little bit of both.
But you've just said it right there. Where was he? What was he laughing at them?
Yeah.
The perception is that he was laughing at them. And guess what? If you're laughing at me and I'm then getting sent to jury, not getting my jury vote, I'd sit there and be like, I'm going to laugh at you when you lose $1 million. So, like, swings and roundabouts, baby.
Yeah.
Yeah, I do feel like, again, and I've said this, the more he dangles it and the more he does this sort of theatrics, it's not going to sit well with the jury because they're going to sit there and they're just going to think, like, why should we respect you when you kind of weren't really respecting us?
Right here, that speech was Rizzo trying to get trying a little too hard to be a character. I hear you. I guess this is what it comes down to. Is this jury going to be as bitter as Ali, or is
that
or is
this
jury?
Yeah,
please. Sorry.
They might not be. They might not be at the moment. But I think, again, we've still got 3 episodes of whatever could happen. And we still don't know how, if he makes it to the end and if he is at the end, hypothetically, what his speech is. So when I say this, it is very much coming from a hypothetical, because I don't know if he makes it to the end. I don't know if he gets a chance to plead his case. But if he does, I think that's going to be his big uphill battle.
Well, I mean, it's actually probably a perfect place to throw this in. Whether he makes it at the end or not, whether he's a great player, whether he's a jerk, it certainly got him on 50. And I think that's the thing. It's like Jeff bringing that up in the middle of the season. I do wonder if that made him sort of play up the theatrics a little bit more than he would have to start. I'm of the mindset that this is just who Rizzo is. I think that he is a little bit of a ham. Like, and I don't even think that he's like a jerk necessarily. I just think he's a ham. It's the same thing about like, it's like Rick Devens, right? There are plenty of people that did not enjoy Rick Devens' shenanigan, right? And it became the Rick Devens show. And there were people like me, I really liked his showmanship. I did, and right here, Hawker Reaper. Rizzo is the greatest showman for Survivor fans. I loved it. And then other people didn't like it, right? Right. Zan's part 3, ham confirmed. He's just a ham, And I think that, but to your point, the jury is still out, very literally.
Yeah, absolutely,
on if the jury is gonna think this shit was cute. Like, I'll just keep it real. Like, are they gonna find this cute, or are they gonna find this like unbelievably annoying and kind of messed up? Sounds like you have something to.
No, it was the fact that first I thought you said I'm an intense gal, and then you're going like, it's not cute.
Yeah,
you did my bachelor.
Just real quick. Right, Phil. Thank you, Roy. I love myself some Roy Jolly. It's his personality making it less objectionable. Rizzo and Devin's on the same season should be worth waiting for. I wonder if it's going to be, once again, like the Sophies thought at the start, there's not enough room for two Sophies, or if it's going to be, hey, we can both be hams and we'll both sort of make each other more hammy. Where's it going to land? I'm stoked to see, truly. Any last words for our fallen comrade, which sadly, we have not gotten to talk too much about it, this tribal council, but I do want to say, even Jawan sat here and was like, I think I'm a threat, And the fact that this was the episode that he got voted off, we focused a lot on Rizzo sort of hamming it up, being a bit of a showman on Jawan's way out. What we did not speak about is Savannah doing the same thing. As votes are being read, Savannah turning to Jawan and being like, Jawan, did you put that together? Knowing full well that, right, rubbing salt in the wound. What did you think about that? And what do you think this man will think about that as he goes to jury?
This is the thing, right? It was rubbing salt in the wound, and I would sit there and be like, but to Savannah's defense, he was sat there at the tribal as well, acting a little bit too comfortable when he was because when he answers, we saw it definitely this tribal, he was answering, and it was just, there was a smirk, and there was a bit of a, haha. So I think it is kind of one of those, I would hope he wouldn't sit there and be like, well, you did this, because at the end of the day, it'd be like, well, actually, you seemed very confident in your tribal council answers, so clearly you thought you were getting one over on me. So, I mean, I think there could be a friendly, like, okay, we'll just leave it even because we both did it to each other. But you know what? I did respect Jawan. I think he played a really strong game. And I think, to his credit, I think a lot of people thought he was going to be one of the early outs. I think we saw in the first couple of episodes, people kind of were like, okay, Jawan's not going to be here long. And then he turned it around. So, kudos to you, Jawan. You proved a lot of people, including myself and others, wrong. So, well done, mate.
There we go. Yeah, man. Just last final words for Jawan here. I just think that Jawan was fantastic this whole season. I think that a lot of times I go, I hope this person comes back. Jawan will 100% be coming back to Survivor. I don't think there's a question. And so until then, man, I can't wait to see you. You played very well here. You got. But honestly, if I could just say, I think it was actually more on your partner Sage than yourself. And it's a shame that this is the way the cookie crumbled for you. But it is less of a shame the way the cookie will be crumbling for us here at the podcast. I thought that was going to be smoother, but because we have a special segment coming up. I don't know why I thought that you were gonna I saw you go off screen and I was like, wait, is he gonna do an entrance?
No, it's because I was trying to let my cat in and I was like, I have 7 seconds to let the cat in, and I was like, get in. But right, this is the tribe has posted. Hold on. Also, that's recency bias, Phil. I think I was talking about Jawan and coming back. But no, this is the tribe has posted where after the episode, I go and scroll through social media because I'm nosy and I want to know all the tea and the drama that's gone on. And there has been a little bit of sweet stuff coming, but we're leaving that to the end. So starting off, obviously it was apparently Thanksgiving, which is a big holiday for you Americans. I don't know. But there was a couple of posts wishing everyone a Thanksgiving. I do hope you had a lovely Thanksgiving as well, Phil. My Thanksgiving was speaking to another Phil. So I love that. But yeah, this was just people being thankful. And then we've got a couple of quotes, which I thought were which I thought were quite funny. Obviously, MC promoting SpongeBob this episode. We've had Camp Rock. We've had SpongeBob. Millennials are eating when it comes to the quotes, the references. And then obviously Riz God posted this 2 minutes after the episode. Are you not entertained? And I thought that was really funny. Moving on, we have Sophie B. She did an Insta story, and I took obviously a couple of screenshots. And this was her favorite moments from episode 10. She put this on her Insta story. I don't know whether it's now on her feed, but but I just found it so funny because honestly, there were quite a few funny moments on this episode. And I mean, she obviously talked about Sage. There was when she was talking about her thing with Stephen, and then obviously Savannah and Jawan's conversation. Those were kind of moments among many that she enjoyed. Next up, we have Rizzo. Just because obviously it was Rizzo had a lot of stuff going on. So obviously it's only way to snuff my torch is to take it from me, because we never spoke about that. The fact that Jawan technically snuffed Rizzo's torch. Yeah.
By the way, what a storybook ending for Jawan that makes so much sense to who he is and really shows that all that stuff with Savannah was truly just who he is. It's actually insane that we got that we got this. It's just like you cannot write this.
Oh, it was so funny. I mean, there is another tweet as well regarding the torch that I'll talk about again. And then also obviously Insta story about Rizzo's episode 10 highlights. And then moving on, we're talking about a secret scene here. Because I actually found this out on the specialists. The secret scene was Sophie Squared looking through Christina's bag and confirming that they had an idol. So obviously this is just some quotes about it, i.e. Insta stories and tweets. And then just a fun little reel from Sophie B going, when people tell you all the information. Because to be fair, to Sophie B's credit, she has gotten all the information. And then finally, these are just some moments from viewing parties and also just being happy that they made it to Final 7. Because again, they've made it to Final 7, which is a really big deal. So this was just a cute couple of things from Sophie B, from Christina, and from Stephen. You can pause to proper read them, but I'm going to just blaze through them. First of all, we have a Haley Ford sighting. Apparently, when Jawan was on his flight, Haley was on the same flight. And I just love it when I see Survivor spots. I've been doing it this season, so that's why I had to put it in there. And then, as I said, task failed successfully. With Stephen talking about, obviously, taking Jawan's torch. Next up, we have this tweet. I just want to reference it because it's still relevant. Because the fact that there are 4 POCs on the jury and people want to be like, don't mean anything. I'm like, yes, it does. Because you have to understand the perception it brings. So if you don't think it's a big deal, shut your mouth and stop being ignorant. Or go live in your blissful ignorance and stop bothering us. That's my thoughts on it. But yeah, I just felt like this was a very important tweet to have on.
Yeah, honestly, I'm actually happy you added this one because I forgot about that. And I will say, even myself at the time, I was like, oh, come on, MC, you shouldn't have done that. But I do stick around and say, look, I do think that directly messed up her game. However, yeah, man, hashtag MC was right. It's definitely, we're seeing the trend continue, which is a shame. So you got that one, MC. That's for sure.
Yeah. Again, it just comes down to what it can then be perceived as. I know, obviously, we know that when there is a bad person, we're not saying that. But again, there is a unconscious bias that could be thrown out there. But moving on, we have Jawan sending all his love out. Obviously, you can pause and read the middle one. That is his Instagram post, just thanking everyone. I think the start of it literally says you win some, you lose some. And then 2 Insta stories, one with his family, because I think his family were there at the Bryson when watching. And then him getting voted out, watching it. And the first person he gets to hug is Ozzy. So he's hugging a Survivor legend. So I think he's winning there. Anything to add before I go to the next slide?
No. I do think it's cool that he got to bring his family there, especially he spoke so much about his family. Clearly means a lot to him. It's just awesome. And excited to see Ozzy on 50.
Now, my final thing before we go to the polls. Did you see this beef? This was my favorite beef.
Oh, I did see this. Yes.
The yes of it all.
You got to check it out. It's really hilarious. But also, people, if you're asking for a private cameo, maybe don't share it to the world. But I don't know.
That part. But yes, for context, all winner survivor. I don't know how they got this cameo. I don't know whether someone sent it to them, if they requested it. We don't know. But it is a cameo from Sophie S. Basically grilling and roasting Rizzo. Instead of Riz God, she refers to him as Riz Cod. And just makes a couple of claims where I'm like, this is very bold of you. Because I will say, I mean, it's no secret now, so I'm so sorry if you're watching this and get spoiled, but I'm talking about this video where she talks about and mentions the 2 times that Rizzo played, where I was like, I shouldn't say that. And then also references fire making, and that's all I'll say, but I'll say go watch the reel. And then the incredibly lovely Lauren Ashley Beck, who is pretty much the same amount of sleuth as I am when it comes to social media. Because she is an amazing reporter as well, weighed in on it as well. So that's why I added the reel of her, because she goes into depth about it as well. So go check out these 2 reels. I know they are not Survivor contestants this season, but all winner Survivor's got great content. And Lauren Ashley Beck is a queen anyway. So go listen to her and go give her some love. But yeah, this beef was great. I was filled. I was there like,
No, Ollie, I'm Phil. Let's move on.
That was so corny. But right, the polls. For those of you that don't know, I post polls on our X account at Survivor Now Pod, where you can vote. I'll post 3 questions, and you can have your say, and then you get to see the results now, unless you've already looked on X, and then what's the fun in that? But the first poll was, should Stephen have told Juwan about Christina's idol? Now, the options were, yes, would have helped him. No, Stephen don't owe him. Maybe at the right time, or Christina has an idol. Or Roy Jolly's one. Who's Christina?
Yeah, I you already know where I'm going for this. No, Stephen don't know him.
Yeah. I agreed, and so did the majority. 68% agreed. No, Stephen didn't owe him. 16% saying yes, and 16% maybe at the right time. There was a point that maybe at the right time was like a solid second. So then there was a couple more votes that then tied it up again. And obviously, Randall Wire said it seemed extra. I don't know. Okay, moving on to the next poll, which is, do you think good things happen at the sanctuary? Sorry, we know my disdain about it. Yes, I love it. No, I hate that place. It's okay, I'm neutral. What's the sanctuary?
I'm going to say it's okay, I'm neutral, mostly because the burgers this time around looked very good. Usually, I would also be a sanctuary detester, but please.
We are not in the majority. 47% apparently love it. I do not agree with that 47%. You're loonies. But that's my opinion. That is just my opinion. I'm one person. I can sit here and admit I'm one person. But yeah. Do you know what? They should make Sanctuary more. They just need to have better like rewards. I always moan about it.
Rewards have gotten worse. They used to be so much better. And you would think that, scaling through the show, they get better or they stay as good. They've gotten worse exclusively.
Yeah. Like, again, I mean, Amy's chimed in saying at least the food was good this time. The worst was the chicken with no that was Bruce, wasn't it? That was Bruce.
Yes,
and I remember Bruce hating that as well. And then also Roy Jolly saying calling it the sanctuary is as useless as offering rice negotiations.
Jeez.
Well, speaking of rice negotiations, the third poll is, are rice negotiations pointless at this point? Yes, players are over it. No, players will cave. Maybe evolve it somehow. Or what's the rice negotiation?
It is over. It is pointless. Yes, players are over it. I am over it. I think the audience is over it. Frankly, I think Jeff is over it. I think this is the last time that we'll see it. To your point, if we do see it on 50, that will truly be the last, just to squeeze the last bit of juice out of the whole Angelina of it all. What do we got? I know the thank you.
Yeah. 50%, yes, the players were over it. There was 33% said maybe if it evolves, which I can also see.
Yeah.
Pardon?
I'm surprised that's so high.
What I think it's because I think people understand that maybe there could be something different about it. I think it's because Jeff is kind of doing the same things with it. It's like, what are you doing? I
Right.
think we as an audience have realized like there just needs to be something different about it. And it's like, again, you can't really call it a negotiation if you're not willing to negotiate.
Fair.
But those were the polls. Just a reminder, check us out on X at Survivor Now Pod to vote in these polls next week, because we will have hopefully some more fun ones for you lot. But that was Tribes Posted.
Thank you, Ollie. Thank you so much. And look, I think that's all we have for today. And I just want to thank our viewers. We actually had quite a good amount of viewership today, which is fantastic. I know we've sort of been between Saturday and Sunday. We're going to get a lot more consistent for 50. We're sort of testing out different time slots, seeing what works best for us and our schedules. Yes, Ollie?
No, I was just going to say, I know for the rest of this season, we are going to do Sundays at 5 p.m.
Yes, that is going to be the plan here. And I honestly, I kind of like Sundays because we can get more into the meat and potatoes and not just recap plainly. This time slot works for you, Roy, then this time slot works for us. I love it. I love it. We do it for you. And just thank you. Being so patient. As you know, again, I moved over here. It was a fun one. Glad to hear there are 50 plans. I want more Survivor now. Oh, absolutely. Got something for you. We'll be here for Survivor 50. That is a guarantee. We wouldn't miss it. But until next week, look, I got to put my home together. So I'm going to dash here. But I'm sorry. Yes. Wait. You have to do the schedule.
The schedule, but also just to let everyone know that tonight is a double header, because obviously with Thanksgiving, a lot of things got moved around. I would say ignore that because that's technically now wrong. But obviously tonight, Survivor Social is happening, and they are joined by Matt tonight. He is once again on the podcast. So that is tonight at 8 p.m. Eastern in about an hour and 15 minutes. So if you want to hear about all the social breakdowns, go check that out. Do you want me to do the rest of the schedule?
Yeah, please.
Next week, obviously, episode 11, we are going to have our pre-show, which I believe will mean Tori again. So we are going to be making our predictions, getting ready for the episode. Then there will be the after show. I'm not sure who will be on that, just because I know that there's another big weekend happening with Over the Edge. So I need to confirm who will actually be there. But that is immediately following the after show is immediately following the episode. Thursday is meant to be Survivor Social. Cara is going to confirm. Cara and Avery will confirm if that is happening on Thursday. Friday at 1 p.m. Eastern is going to be Survivor Stockwatch, where they will break down all the power rankings. And then we will be back here on Sunday at 5 p.m. Eastern for Got Something For You with a very special guest.
Shh, don't tell them. It's very exciting. So make sure you tune in next week because we will have a very special guest. I don't know what you're saying. We'll talk after. I am very, very excited for our guest next week. And I know you guys will be too. So please make sure to tune in. And we love you all so much. Until next week, take care.